The best playoffs in sports are here, the NHL playoffs. And I can't believe it, my Boston Bruins made it. I had my doubts throughout the season. In this video, I will fill up my Stanley Cup bracket, and it will be perfect because I read the script. I'm not going to do a deep dive on each team. I'm just going with my gut feeling and maybe have some bias on players I had on my fantasy team. So let's get into the first matchup. Starting off in the West, we got the Avalanche versus the Kings. The Avalanche are carrying the President's Trophy's curse, but throughout the season, they really were a dominant force. McKinnon had a great year, and the trade for Nazem Kadri really made their center depth the best in the league. Now the Kings, they're playing for Anze Kopitar. This will be his last playoff run, and throughout the year, they were pretty shaky. They had trouble scoring throughout the whole year, but with the trade for Panarin, he has brought it up a bit. For the winner of this round, I'm going with Colorado. They are a force to be reckoned with, and I don't think LA stands a chance. I'm going with the Avalanche in 5. Next is the Stars versus the Wild. The only guarantee here is that the team wearing green will win. This was a matchup we knew weeks before the season ended, and it's unfortunate this is in the first round because both these teams deserve to be in the second round. This will be a great series, and it could go either way. The Dallas Stars have been great all season, even with injuries to key players. I'm not the biggest believer in Ottinger, but the team is so good around him that he doesn't have to be that guy. For the Dallas Stars, it's cup or bust, but they got a tough matchup. Now the Wild, they haven't won a round in years, but this season they were going all in. They had the big trade for Quinn Hughes, and he's been everything as advertised. They added bottom 6 depth, Kaprizov continues to be great, and they got some stable goaltending. This will be a tough and very entertaining series, and it could go either way. I'm going back and forth between the two, but I'm going with the Minnesota Wild in 6 games. Next we got the Golden Knights and the Mammoth. The Golden Knights were not that dominant team we're used to seeing. Their goaltending was pretty lackluster, and they fired their coach with like 2 weeks in the season. But even with all that, they were playing well down the stretch, and they still have that top end talent. Eichel and Marner will be the key to the series. We'll see if the Toronto media was right to criticize him in the playoffs. Now the Mammoth, the upstart team that are finally in the playoffs. After all those years of being terrible as the Coyotes, there was a team brewing with so much talent that eventually they had to make it, right? And this is their year. They had solid goaltending the whole year, and so many young players on here that so many of them can score. Keller was one of my goats in fantasy. I feel like this will be a sleeper of a series, and all the games will be close. But for the winner, I'm going with the Mammoth in 7. Next is the Oilers and Ducks. The Oilers, they've been here. They're trying to make it to the 3rd straight cup, and Connor McDavid can win you a series by himself. Of course, the goaltending is still a question, but the Oilers are so good, they can afford a game or two where the goalie is terrible, but they just outscore that problem. Now for the Ducks, they are just happy to be here. They have a bunch of young, skilled guys, and who would have thought Cutter Gauthier would have a 40-goal season? Their goaltending can be a bit shaky, but I believe in Dostal. I feel like he'll have some consistency, especially with the veterans on the blue line. I like what the Ducks are doing, but I don't think they're any match for the Oilers. The Ducks can definitely steal a game or two, so I'm going with the Oilers in 6. And now for the East. And first we got the Sabres versus the Bruins. The Buffalo Sabres are finally back in the playoffs, and it's about damn time. They had so many heartbreaks throughout the years of barely missing out on it, but finally, this year, they put it together. They can score goals, they got some decent goaltending, and their blue line, they're young and very skilled. Tage Thompson is a beast. He's gonna have the best performance in this playoff series. Now for my Bruins. I didn't expect them to be here, and I didn't start believing until about the Olympic break. Look, I've been saying it's house money, and you never know, you just need to make it to the playoffs. To win this series, they will need their depth guys to start scoring, not just Pasta. The defense needs to play better in front of Jeremy Swayman and stop taking so many damn penalties. This will be the series to see if Jeremy Swayman is that guy, because he had a nice bounce back season, but when the pressure's on, we really need that goaltender to step up and steal us a game or two. This will be a fun series. Out of all the potential first round matchups, I wanted the Bruins versus Sabres because I think it will be fun, and the Bruins have the best chance to beat the Sabres. Even though I think it will be close and the Bruins are terrible on the road, I'm going with the Boston Bruins in 7 because they never make it easy in a playoff series. Next, we got the Lightning and the Canadiens. The Lightning has been pretty disappointing in the last couple playoff series, whether it be from a first or second round exit. They are used to making deep runs, and we'll see if they can do it this year. Shout out to my man Kucherov as my top pick in fantasy. But the Lightning got so many guys that have just plugged into their lineup and added some depth scoring to them. Where did Darren Radish come from? And of course they got Corey Perry, so they have a chance of making the final. We will see if Vasilevsky can be back into that playoff form that we have seen before, and I'm not writing him off. Now the Canadiens. As a Bruins fan, I've hated the Canadiens, but during this rebuild process, I liked so many players on their team. Suzuki, Caulfield, Slavkovsky, Demidov. They have so many young guys that haven't even broken out yet. I even forgot to mention Lane Hudson. The Canadiens are here to stay, stay, and they will be very annoying for the next decade or so. They got their goaltending in Dobaj, and they match up well with the Lightning. This will be a very entertaining series, and I see it going to Game 7. But who do I pick though? It's gotta be those pesky Lightning. Next is the Hurricanes and the Senators. The Carolina Hurricanes is cup or bust for them. How many times are they gonna make it to the conference finals and get completely dog walked there? They are a consistent great team with depth scoring, guys who could play a 200 feet game, and they play a stingy defense where they don't allow many goals. But their goaltending is a problem. Freddie Anderson is inconsistent and injury prone, and Brandon Bussi, he had a crazy start, but after the Olympic break he fell off a bit. The Hurricanes played very well in front of him, so he just needed to be average to give them the win. They have so many guys that could be the hero that you had to watch out for all of them. Now the Senators. They are here again in the playoffs, and they play well throughout the year. It was a tight race for that second wildcard spot, but in the end, the right team made it. Of course, the biggest question here is goaltending. Ullmark has played better in the last couple games. Brady Tkachuk is that player you want in the playoffs, and we'll see how bad his injury is. But I think the Hurricanes will be too much for the Senators, and I have the Hurricanes winning in 6. Next is the Battle of Pennsylvania, the Penguins and the Flyers. The Penguins, no one thought they would be here. It was supposed to be a retooling year and wasting another season of Sidney Crosby, Malkin, and Letang. But throughout the year, they kept winning games, blowing leads, and Kyle Dubas made some smart trades on getting guys that were casted away from their teams. They have rookies contributing, Erik Karlsson is turning back the clock, and Anthony Mantha is finally the guy we expected him to be 10 years ago. And of course, Sidney Crosby is still playing like Sidney Crosby. Goaltending is a bit questionable. Now for the Flyers, no one also thought they would be here. It was another rebuilding year, but we saw glimpses of their talent they had coming up. Rick Tocchet has got them to play a style that works well for the playoffs. They have drafted well, and Porter Martone, if he's in the lineup, he's gonna be trouble in this series. Surprisingly, their goaltending has been pretty good. Who'd have thought Dan Vladar would be able to win key games for them to get them into the playoffs? It just sucks that Claude Giroux isn't a Flyer anymore. This series could go either way, and it should be fun seeing these two rivals go at it, but I'm not betting against Sidney Crosby, and I'm going with the Penguins in 6. Now for the second round, we will have the Avalanche versus the Wild. Now I chose the Wild with the upset in the first round, but unfortunately, I feel like their run ends here. Colorado, they're just too good, man. They have the team and the experience to make the run to the final, and I feel like Minnesota is not a match for them. I would love to see Minnesota win here, but I'm going with the Avalanche in 5. Next, we got the Mammoth and the Oilers. This could be a low-key fun series. The Oilers have that playoff experience, and they have guys to get in the dirty areas. But for the Mammoth, they're young, skilled, speedy, and do they have what it takes to shut down Connor McDavid for a game or two? I do see a potential upset with the Mammoth winning because of the Oilers' terrible goaltending, but I think this will be the series for Connor McDavid to take over and will his team to win the series. The Mammoth will keep it close, but in the end, the Oilers will be too much for them. I'm going with the Oilers in 6 games. Now for the East, we got the Bruins and the Lightnings. Oh, I hate the Lightning. Because they match up so well with the Bruins, and every time it feels like we have the game in hand, the Lightning find a way to come back and steal it last minute. But in recent playoff history, the Lightning have had the Bruins number, and I feel like it continues this year. The Bruins aren't supposed to be here, and this will be a dirty series. I have the Lightning winning in 6 games here. Next is the Hurricanes and the Penguins. Honestly, I feel like this will be a boring matchup. The Hurricanes match up well against the Penguins, and I feel like the series won't be even close. Sidney Crosby will do everything in his power to will his team to win, but I don't think it'll be enough. The Hurricanes have too much depth, and they will smother the Penguins. I have the Hurricanes winning in 5. Now for the Western Conference Finals, we have the Avalanche and the Oilers. The two top dogs of Nathan McKinnon and Connor McDavid going at it. This should be a very entertaining series with so much high-end talent here. Even with the Oilers' experience on making it to the Cup final, I feel like the Avalanche have an edge. If their power play could just be better, this can be a toss-up of a series. But unfortunately for the Oilers, their run comes to an end here, and I'm going with the Avalanche in 6. Now for the Eastern Conference Finals, we got the Lightning and the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes are back here, and do I think they could win more than 1 game? Yes, I do. But I only think they win 1 extra game. This will be a tight series, and I can see every game being decided by 1 goal. Even though in the past couple playoffs, I haven't had the best luck on betting on the Lightning to make a deep playoff run, I think this is the year it changes, and they get back to the final, and they beat the Hurricanes in 6 games. And for the Stanley Cup final, I have the Colorado Avalanche versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. It will be a rematch of 2022. I know it's a bit of a boring final, especially with so many new teams who got entering the playoffs, but the NHL like reusing scripts. We got the President's Trophies curse versus the Corey Perry curse. Now, which one will be broken? Unfortunately, the Stanley Cup will be staying in Florida, and I'm going with the Tampa Bay Lightning in 7 games. I know it's boring, but I told you I read the script. So that is my prediction for this year's Stanley Cup Finals. And let me know in the comments below, what does your bracket look like? Who do you think is winning the cup? And why is my bracket so awful? Let me know everything in the comments below. I can't wait for the heartbreaking moments. And hopefully as a Bruins fan, I don't have to go through that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.